Hello, I'm Andrea Sutcliffe, the Chief Executive and Registrar of the Nursing and Midwifery Council, the independent regulator of all nurses and midwives in the UK and nursing associates in England. You've probably already heard about us from your education provider. In this webinar, I'll be joined by colleagues from across the NMC. We'll explain who we are, what we do, and our role in your student journey. But before that, I'd like to start by saying, welcome to Nursing and Midwifery. I hope you're feeling proud about your decision to join the nursing and midwifery professions. I recognise you might also feel a little apprehensive, but please remember that as a registered nurse, midwife or nursing associate, you'll make a difference to people's lives every single day. That's something to be really excited about. So let's get started. Who are the Nursing and Midwifery Council? Well, as I said, we're the independent regulator of all nurses and midwives in the UK and nursing associates in England. That means we maintain a register of all nursing and midwifery professionals who are eligible to practice in the UK. Our vision is safe, effective and kind nursing and midwifery practice that improves everyone's health and well-being. And our purpose is to promote and uphold high professional standards in nursing and midwifery. Our reason for doing this is to protect the public and inspire public confidence and professional pride. We have three key roles that support our purpose. First, we regulate. That means we set standards for nursing and midwifery, education and practice, maintain a register of professionals and investigate when things go wrong, which only concerns a very tiny minority of people. We support. That means we support people to deliver our standards in practice so that people using services get the care they have the right to expect. And we help address challenges that the professions may be facing. And finally, we influence. That means we share our data and insight, working with partners to influence wider health and social care issues to improve everyone's health and well-being. That's an introduction to the NMC. Now I'm going to hand over to Anne, who's going to tell you more about our role in your education.
Thanks, Andrea. Hello, everyone. I'm Anne Trotter and I've been a nurse for over 40 years. I work in the professional practice team. That's the part of the NMC that sets standards and quality assures your education. As Andrea explained, we're involved at all stages of your education and career. That starts with setting standards for nursing and midwifery practice. This includes our standards of proficiency, which explain what you need to know and be able to do by the time you join the register. We also set the code, which I'm sure you've heard of by now. It represents the professional standards of practice and behaviour that all registered nurses, midwives and nursing associates are expected to uphold. We also set standards for education programmes and quality assure your education. Our standards for student supervision and assessment, known as SSSA, are there to make sure you receive high quality learning support and supervision during your practice placements. We'll go into greater detail on SSSA in the second webinar of this series. Once you complete your qualification, you're invited to join our register so you can practice. To ensure that all professionals keep their knowledge and skill up to date, we then require you to complete what we call revalidation, and that takes place every 3 years. This animation explains these different aspects of our standards and how, combined, they're what makes you a registered professional.
As a nurse, midwife or nursing associate, what is it that makes you a professional? For some people, being a professional is about the person you are and how you do things. For others, it's about what you do, having specialist knowledge and skills that set you apart from those who don't. But both are equally important. And regulation is vital for setting and maintaining rules and standards for both. So how do we do this? The code is a set of standards stating how you behave as a professional. These are the rules that you need to follow to get onto and stay on the register. Secondly, the standards of proficiency define the knowledge and skills you must have to be a registered professional. Then there are the standards for education and training. They are for universities and practice placement partners. These are the essentials of how educational courses should be run, so that every new professional meets all of the requirements to join our register. They include our standards for student supervision and assessment, which is important for all qualified professionals, because everyone has a role to play in supervising students throughout their career. So how does regulation continue to support and guide you once you have qualified? New evidence and technology can improve people's care. Your knowledge and skills will need to grow and develop further to support those changes. This is also why we update our standards to reflect new evidence and its impact on people. And we'll always consider whether we need to regulate additional post-registration qualifications. The code requires all professionals to keep their knowledge and skills up to date. So every 3 years, you assure us you're doing this through revalidation. When you revalidate, it's really important that you know about our latest standards of proficiency and use them to plan any professional development or education you need. So why is regulation so important? The code, the standards of proficiency, the standards for education and training and revalidation are the regulatory foundations of professional practice, and they apply to all of our registered professionals. They exist to keep people safe, but they also guide you on your professional journey and support you to be the best you can be, now and in the future.
Now that you've heard about what it means to be a registered professional, my colleagues are going to go into a little bit more detail about the ways we can support you.
Thanks, Anne. I'm Alex Rees and I work alongside Anne in the professional practice team. Anne has explained the role that we play in your education by setting standards, but we also have an education quality assurance team. So their role is to ensure that education programmes are high quality. We do this through approving and monitoring your education provider and their practice learning partners to assure us that their programme and placements meet our standards and enable you to provide safe, kind and effective care. Should you identify a concern about your education programme, you can raise this with our quality assurance team. More information can be found under the education section of our website. As a regulator, we also support you in other ways, such as through our guidance. One example is our social media guidance. Social media can be a really valuable tool for networking, connecting, sharing ideas and learning, but it's also really important to make sure you're acting in a professional and lawful way. As you start practicing, your personal and professional lives start to overlap, and social media in particular can be tricky to navigate. Our social media guidance therefore helps you to know how to use social media responsibly. Hopefully all of this is making our role clearer, but I want to address some common questions or misconceptions that we hear. Firstly, as a regulator, we're not a union, so we don't represent nurses, midwives or nursing associates. We also can't affect issues such as salary or hours of work. Although we set the standards and quality assure your education, we don't plan your curriculum or organise your placements. That's down to your education provider. We also don't have a role in funding or training or continued professional development. We also don't regulate health and care settings, employers or commission training places. But we do work with organisations in all 4 UK countries that do this important work and influence the health and care sectors.
Hi everyone, I'm Joyce Adu. I work in the professional regulation team and I'm going to talk to you a bit about what we call fitness to practice. For students, education providers have policies that set out expectations of students' conduct. If there are any questions about this, education providers will address them. Once people are on the register, if any concerns are raised about them, then those should generally be dealt with by their employer. But if it's a serious question about someone's skills, behaviour, or what their right is to be on the register, then that's when the NMC can get involved. The issues will go through what we call a fitness to practice process. We know that a lot of people are worried that the NMC might take away their registration, but in reality, concerns about someone's fitness to practice affect a tiny minority of people on our register. As a regulator, our role isn't to punish people for things that have happened. We need to make sure that professionals meet the standards they need to deliver safe, kind and effective care to the public. In the vast majority of cases, we know that professionals go to work trying to do their best to do good, so that is often our starting point. But where there's evidence of a very serious concern about someone's fitness to practice, we need to take action to protect the public and uphold confidence in the professions. This can include removing people from the register if necessary. In some cases, concerns that appear to be the result of poor individual practice are actually caused by system pressures or other factors. This is why we take wider contextual issues into account when looking into questions around someone's practice. That way, we can fully understand what has happened and what can be done to keep people safe in the future. We also encourage a learning culture amongst employers. This includes the NHS. This way, people can be open and learn from mistakes free from blame. One of the policies that supports you to do this is our duty of candour guidance. What does it say? Well, firstly, it says that as a healthcare professional, you have a duty to be honest and open. It also says that if you believe a colleague or anyone else may be putting someone in your care or the public at risk, you should speak up and report your concerns straight away, and you should encourage others to do the same. The guidance should help you feel empowered to do this, so do have a look at it. We'll share a link at the end of this webinar. I hope that reassures you that the NMC is here to support you to be the best possible nurse, midwife or nursing associate that you can be, so that you deliver good care to people. I'm now going to pass you over to Emma in our EDI team.
I'm Emma Lawrence and I work in the NMC's Equality, Diversity and Inclusion team. I'm sure you'll agree with our position that there is no room for discrimination in health and care. We want every person receiving care to be treated with dignity and respect, which is why our standards are clear that professionals on our register must practice in a way which recognises diversity and upholds equality. We also want every student and professional providing care to be able to learn and work in an environment you can all thrive in. Unfortunately, evidence shows that racism and other forms of discrimination can manifest into inequalities in health and social care, as with other parts of our society. For example, our research shows that students of mixed ethnicity, those who are disabled and men, have higher dropout rates from nursing and midwifery courses, and we'll be working with education providers in a more targeted way going forwards to understand and reduce these disparities. We know that discrimination can be devastating and have a long-lasting impact on people. It creates barriers for professionals in the workforce who want to focus on providing effective and person-centred care, and therefore has a negative knock-on effect on people and communities. If you have concerns about the way that you, a colleague or a person in your care is being treated because of their identity, background or other characteristic, it's important that you find safe ways to raise these issues, starting by informing your tutors, managers and leaders. We'll be playing our part too by working to deliver our EDI plan for fairer and better experiences and outcomes for everyone interacting with us, and to ensure that we're a fair and inclusive employer. You can read more about it on our website. There's a link on the screen. I'm now going to hand over to Claire.
Thanks, Emma. Hi everyone, my name is Claire Quinlivan and I work in the NMD's communications team. I hope you found this webinar useful and that you now know a bit more about the NMC and our role in your education. We're excited for you to become registered professionals. The day you join the register will come around before you know it. But until then, please keep in touch with us. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook and check out our YouTube channel for helpful videos. And if there's one thing that you do after watching this, please consider signing up to our student newsletter. It's designed to help you prepare for joining the professional register. We share information about our standards, as well as advice from educators and other students. There are also opportunities for you to get involved in shaping nursing and midwifery education. It's really easy to do. Just go to nmc.org.uk/newsletters to sign up. I'm now going to hand back over to Andrea.
Thanks, Claire. So that's the end of the webinar. As I mentioned, it's the first of 3, so do look out for the others as you get further along in your education. For now, all that's left to say is good luck with your studies. Not many people can say that the work they do has a direct impact on people's lives. But as the next generation of nurses, midwives and nursing associates, you will. I hope that makes you proud. Until then, here are some links to helpful resources, including that student newsletter sign-up link once again.